Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. This is part 3 of my Panasonic G7 series. This is about ISO and noise, which is very important. If you want to, what I need to do is find out how my camera, the Panasonic G7s and its lenses, compares to my last camera and its lenses. So when you're watching these comparisons, go ahead and leave comments, but I know it's easy to say, well, you could throw on a lens, a different lens on that camera and this camera and make it better and all that, and I understand that. However, these are tests for me and my previous camera opposed to my new camera, so I have to do a direct comparison with what I'm used to and what I shoot with and my budget and my style and all that stuff. If that falls in the same category as you, then these tests will be great, but if you have more money to get more expensive cameras and better lenses, and well, maybe this test won't be good to watch because you might have a different outlook on your photography and budget and all that stuff. Now, I'm using my app here, which is really cool because at any point I can check my skin tones and they look pretty good. Exposure looks great. And I'm going to do some tests later with picture profiles and the new audio system I got set up here. Anyways, check this out. It's kind of long and boring because I'm testing ISO, but I was really shocked to find out the outcome, and I don't want to give nothing away. Watch it and see what you guys think. I'm going to post the still images up on my webpage, so you can check that out at aaronjandersonphotography.com. Stay tuned. Okay, let's start with this ISO test and noise to see what's going on here. Now, I'm absolutely shocked with what I found out. Right now, we're looking at the A6000 through the whole frame here. And when I move this thing over, we're having the A6000 with the Sony 35mm f1.8 at 5.6 on this side. And on this side, we're going to have the Panasonic G7 with the kit lens, which is the Lumix G Vario 14 to 42mm. And we have this one at 5.6. And we're going to have this one at 25mm. That way they both have the same equivalent of 50mm on a full frame sensor. And I have them set at 5.6 because 5.6 is usually, on most lenses, the sharpest they can get. And I say usually. I know for a fact on the A6000, all these lenses at 5.6 are super sharp. And so that's why they're at 5.6. This is a very low light situation. Now, the only different things I made is these are both raw, and the only difference is when I brought them into Adobe RAW, it adds 25 marks of sharpness, so both of those have that. Since this is a 24 megapixel Sony, I had to downscale it to try to match the 14 megapixel size so I can match these side by side so we can make an easier visuals on what's going on here. And when you downscale something bigger into smaller, usually it gets better. Even with that said, I am absolutely shocked with this 14 to 42mm lens, because I was understanding of what everybody said, and from what I've seen in my own photographs using the A6000 for several months now, is that this I thought was super sharp, but not after I saw the kit lens, and I'm going to show you. This is not resolution tests. This is noise test, but by golly, check this out. Okay, so we're looking at the A6000. Oh, let's see if I can get that. Now, if I bring this over, we're revealing the G7 underneath. Look how much cleaner that looks so far. Look at the wall. I mean, the wall here is much sharper here. Now look when I get to the Eiffel Tower here. Look at that. To me, that's super amazing. I mean, that is really sharp on a kit lens, and it's a zoom lens, and it's just like, my gosh. I should have, I didn't have my Olympus 25mm 1.8 and my Panasonic 42.5mm 1.7. I didn't have those when I did this test. I can't imagine what those must look like now. Stay tuned for resolution test videos coming up. But that's remarkable. Look at that. I mean, that's like I've got fog on my glasses, and that's like clear and clean. I mean, look at that. That is remarkable. Here's this little, let's look at this. This is what I was showing on the other video of just the RAW plus versus JPEG. These are different sensors and different lenses, and look at that, super clean. I mean, I'm excited. The G7, just with this test right here, with this kit lens, I'm so much more pleased with the quality of the photo. And being, 16 megapixel, 24 megapixel, down scale to this, I mean, it's just clean. Now the noise, which this is a noise test, they both did, I can't pull that down, I have to come up here. They both did great. Remember, this is the Panasonic over here, this is the Sony. And all these are custom white balance, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that through this whole video, but they're all, I white balanced with a gray card and a white card just to see what would be the difference, but they look the same. But the noise is great. I don't see any problems with this ISO 200 except the clarity, man. I'll put these photos, I'll make some photos out of this and put them on my website. Just the clarity. I mean, look at just the sparkle and the highlights on this, on the G7, opposed to this murky looking footage. I'm shocked. I just had no idea the G7 would be this much better with a kit lens. So there you go. Yeah, that's ISO 200. Let's move on to the next ISO. Okay, so here we are at 400 ISO. I actually forgot to make a photo of the ISO 200, so you probably will not find that on my website, because when I'm going through this After Effects, I'm deleting stuff, and I just don't feel like setting that whole thing up again. But I already did it with this, so we have ISO 400. I'll put on my website a still image of the split screen here. Here we are, same exact thing. I don't want to sit here and talk too much. We're just going to go through and look at the noise. Again, the G7 is just much clearer, and I just can't believe it. So we can see resolution better on the G7. Could that be the sensor? I don't know, but the sensor and lens combination with the G7 is working pretty good. Let's look at the noise. Now the noise, we can see more noise in the G7 here. You can see there's more noise here. However, you can see some of the, it looks like it's, oh, well, I mean, I'll give it to Sony. It's a little less noisy here, but it just looks a little softer noise, and that might just be due to the sharpness over here or whatever, but the Sony has less noise at ISO 400. We can really see it in these colors here. We got more noise here. I can see the noise here, but it just looks like it looks like it's under like a little bit of softness. We can really see it here, more noise on the G7. We can look at these two swatches here. So it's more noise on the G7, that's for sure. Look at these gray tones here. Let's go to this medium gray here. More noise. It's here but blurrier or softer. But like I said in my original thing, this is the first time I'm going over these actually live with you guys. That first one, the ISO 200, when I was setting up, I noticed and made the video real quick. One thing I noticed here too, look at this. It looks like, wait, let's see, yeah, you could see, I don't know what that is there, but there's some kind of weird noise pattern going on with the A6000. There's like purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink all along this here, and on the G7 it's not there. So there's some kind of weird noise going on here. You can also see it up here. It's just these like weird lines, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, and on the G7 there is none of that weird noise going on there. But if I had to choose which image is better, definitely the G7. I mean, from a normal viewing distance, you don't even notice the noise anyways. Let's go over here and look at this dark area. See, there's here you can see a lot more noise, but it's sharper, more information here. This is just a little soft. So it basically looks like the noise just got softened, but I'll take this sharper image any day, more clear, more clean. Okay, so I'll take, I already took a photo of this. Let's go on to the next. Okay, so here we are, everything's the same, but now we're at ISO 640. Let's just do this from a wide shot first. We're looking at the Sony the Sony, and now we're going to reveal the G7 on the right. Like before, it just has a much clearer, more detailed view. Looks great. Now let's zoom in here to really get the noise. So here's the Panasonic G7 and here's the A6000. Now they look like all these shots, the noise looks the same. It's just the A6000 is softer. So you don't see the noise as sharp or prominent. But it looks the same, just softer, especially when you zoom out here. This just doesn't look good at all as far as a detailed image is concerned. If we come over here, let's look down at the noise in these this dark here. These look pretty darn close. You know, it's hard to tell. There's just more detail here, so it just looks better. If we come up here to the color, we can usually see more noise here. See, here's from my point of view here, it looks like the same amount of noise, it's just softer. I've said it a million times. Let's just keep going. It's the same all the time. It's just like the same so far. But if you had to, just pick one, I would say the A6000 looks cleaner but blurrier. But the same noise is actually there. Okay, so here we are at ISO 800. Let's just drag it from this view here. G7 on the right, A6000 on the left. I love the way that G7 just is nice and clear and clean and sharp looking. Let's come over here and look at the noise. You can see again here that the G7 looks noisier, but this looks about the same noise on the A6000, except it's just softer. Let's come over here because this is a good way to look. They look the same, man. Really? This just looks sharper. That's the bottom line. I mean, this looks identical right here now. This one looks a little softer on the A6000. Different colors here. Let's go down here to the dark area. They look the same at ISO 800. Let's look at this white area here. Look at this white area here. This looks noisier, of course. This just looks softer. So that's ISO 800. Okay, so here we are at ISO 1250. Let's just do a wide shot here. Not a resolution test, but the G7 definitely is more detail with this lens and combination on each. Okay, so now let's zoom in here and look for the noise. So here's the G7, here's the A6000. Again, the noise looks the same to me. It's just this has a little more blurriness to it, which in a sense kind of hides the noise. But in my opinion, it's the same. Let's come over here to this color. With this color, you can clearly see, oh, that's a lot more noise on the G7. And you know, I mean, I would say there's more noise here. And I'm not trying to make, you know, my new camera look better than the A6000. I'm just saying there's more noise here, but there's more detail at the same time. So you take whatever you want. This clearly looks noisier here. This looks noisier. The G7, I'm saying, looks noisier. This blue always stands out. So if you really zoom in, it's not that much difference. You know, you can kind of see those. Look at this here. This looks more noisy on the G7. Let's come down here. Down here, we could probably see more noise here. But, you know, with just a little bit more noise, and I don't know if it's noise or just this is software blending the noise together. This is just a cleaner image over here altogether. So there you go, ISO 1250. Okay, so here we are at ISO 2000. Let's do one of these wide, I always do that. Let's do a wide shot here. A6000 on the left, G7 on the right. Again, that G7 just looks so clean. What I'm noticing now is the noise. Let's start over here like we have been doing. The noise looks exactly the same like I've been saying this whole time. This just looks softer. However, where did I see that at? Well, let's look at this first. Looks the same but softer on the A6000. In this color, it looks a lot more noise there. Same story. However, down here I notice I'm starting to see a lot of I don't know if this will pick up on the YouTube, but they're starting to show some purple color noise here, where this one is still remaining black with no color noise, which is a really good thing. So the G7 shows no color noise, whereas the A6000 at ISO 2000 is starting to show color noise, which is not a good thing. It's purple, like a purple color noise there. And as far as changing the color a little bit to more purple, let's look at these swatches up here. Let's go to the next ISO. Okay, so here we are at ISO 3200. Now this is a real important ISO because most cameras that I've had, 3200 is about the max that I would use. And so this is a pretty good. When I shoot, I usually put auto ISO on, not everything, but on a lot of shots, depending on how fast I got to move. And I always usually set their limit at ISO 3200. So this is going to be a good one to test here. Let's do this. We're looking at the A6000 now. Now let's swipe and reveal the G7. My computer's choking here. Again, I mean, just look at the clarity, man. I just can't get over the clarity. Okay, let's look at the noise. Let's go over here, because after all, that's what we're doing. If we look at the noise, it's exactly the same thing. I mean, we're competing against an APS-C sensor to a micro four thirds, and this micro four thirds is holding up identical almost, actually better than the Sony sensor, because the noise looks the same, it's just softer over here. And not only that, let's go over to this color. I mean, look at the noise. It looks really close to the same, except it's softer. And this is a micro four third sensor. You know, I'm just really impressed here. I got these kind of screwed up here, but you can kind of get the point here. And here's why I say it's better is because look at this. This is showing a lot of purple color noise over here, where the G7 is not. This is still pure black, and this is now purple. You can clearly see that. I'm really blown away by this. I didn't think that this camera would do better than an APS-C Sony sensor, you know, I mean, incredible. This looks the same, just sharper over here. Oh, I'm excited. So that is 3200. Let's go to the next. Here we are with ISO 5000. We're looking at the Sony a6000 here, all the way across. And now just with the wide shot, we're going to come over so we can just kind of get a rough idea of what's going on here. Just like all the other tests, which I'm really getting tired of doing this, the G7 just looks cleaner and more detailed even at ISO 5000. There you go. Let's just go look at the noise like we've been doing. Okay, let's zoom in here. Same story. The noise looks the same to me, except this is blurrier. Let's go over to this part. And we can see right here that the noise looks the same. This is just blurrier. Certain colors show the noise better, more on the G7. This looks a lot more noisier over here, but again, I hope when you guys look at the photos on my website that you can see that it's just the same amount of noise, just blurrier. And if we come down here, this is just horrible on the a6000. There's a lot of that like purple color noise on the a6000, and on the G7 it's still black. I mean, that is incredible. I mean, I was taking a chance going with this G7, and because I just love the handling the camera better, and now I'm just so happy that it's turning out better than the a6000 APS-C crop. So there you go. Let's go to the next. Okay, so here we are at 8000, ISO 8000. We're looking at the Sony a6000 across the full frame. Now let's cruise this over. And I'm getting so tired and bored of doing this because it's the same story. We get a cleaner image from the G7. There we go. Let's go and look at the noise in this corner. The noise looks the same. This looks softer, but now we're getting purple color noise in this area of the a6000, whereas before we would only get it in the blacks, but now we're getting it over here. Let's cruise this one over. Same noise, blurrier, cleaner, sharper over here. Not cleaner, it's just cleaner looking, you know, more sharp, more information, more IQ, more resolution, whatever you want to call it. Back and forth here. Let's come down. Look at that. That's just really crazy. This is on the G7. It's still black. Blacks are black. Over here, it's like even the wall is purple. We've got purple smearing all down here. This is just kind of black and gray over here. The G7 is beating an APS-C Sony a6000. I'm shocked. We even see purple going on over here, and there's like no purple at all. Well, maybe right here, maybe a little. It's hard to tell. I don't think so though. No, I don't see any purple over here. But that's it, ISO 8000. Let's move to the next. Okay, so here we are at ISO 12800. This is extremely high. We've got the a6000 here looking at the whole frame of it. And let's swipe to reveal the G7. There we go. Let's go look at the noise. Same story. This is just looking like the same grain, the same noise. This is like a finer grain. Starting to get a little chunky here in the a6000. We've got a lot of purple noise going on here. If we just look at the detail over here is still holding up better than, it's always been better than the a6000 on these tests I've been doing. That's never really changed. If we look at here, It does appear that the G7 has more noise, but this just looks like it's more smeared in, as if there was noise reduction, but there was no noise. This is a raw image anyways, so there was no noise reduction. And we look at this, it's just like the same story over and over. Let's look down here. This is just all purple grossness here, where this is pretty darn noisy, but it's still black as black. And I mean, if you're going to choose which camera, and we're shooting at 12,800 and the noise looks identical, but the G7 is retaining its color, not having this purple noise, and the resolution is just better. I mean, man, I just can't believe it, guys, that I switched to the G7 thinking I might be going down in quality, which I never want to do, just for the usability of the camera, and here to find out that it's actually, I'm going to be getting better images. Amazing. Let's move to the next. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to do. Even though these cameras can go higher, I'm probably not going to shoot this high, and I'm tired of doing this. So let's just see. This is the A6000 that we're looking at ISO 1600, and as we swipe to the side here, getting more color noise in the image. So there you go on that one. So if we zoom in here, again, it's like the same noise. I can't believe I said that 100 times. I'm not even going to say it again. Purple over here in the A6000. I sound like a broken record. Looks like more noise, but it's sharper. Come down here. Look at all this purple goodness over here. And this still retains the black and the colors. That's amazing. So there's ISO 1600, guys. And in case this is the end, my name is Aaron J. Anderson. Hope you enjoyed this test. Check out these still images at aaronjandersonphotography.com.